You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
All right. Hey, it's Walter. It's actually Monday the 27th, and I don't have much to say. I just had to do another show, a little early morning show. I might do one tonight. I don't know what it is. I just I got out of the house a little earlier than normal because I work second shift. I work from 4 to 12:30 at my job. And I don't know what it is, but it was not even 1 o'clock. I'm going to get gas, and the traffic is horrendous. And it's does anyone work anymore? Is there just the kids don't go to school? I mean, there's nothing going on that I know of. Maybe you have to fill me in. Is there a national holiday every day for something? Now we celebrate everybody's birthday within the local area. They don't feel like working. That's a holiday. I don't know. I get dumbfounded by the amount of people off. Hey, it was just brought to my attention though. It's in the Times Herald. There was a really bad crash within my area. And it basically is titled, "One Dead in Lower Providence Truck Crash. Road Remains Closed. Investigation Continues." Now, this is in Lower Providence. That's my area. It says, one person is dead after the tractor and trailer. Sorry about that. I picked that up on my father. Let me reread that. It's basically, he calls it, he says tractor and trailer. It's actually tractor trailer. So I joke about it so much now I'm starting to say it. Yeah, basically, I'm going to reread this. Lower Providence, one person dead after a tractor trailer and tanker truck collide in the 700 block, South Park Avenue, Monday morning. So it has a video attached, too. I mean, it's pretty sad that I had yesterday around my neighborhood, somebody came down a hill in this truck. And it had to be young kids. Now, I know a friend that was like that, but he knew how to control himself and not kill anybody in the process. He used to drive, as a joke, he would burn rubber and stuff. But he made sure that the roads were safe, that nobody was around. So somebody does that. They come down the bottom of this hill. They go in through my development, and they leave a trail of smoke. Now, if there was a kid in my neighborhood walking the street, good luck, because that person would have been dead because he was going so fast. I'm surprised he didn't flip the truck. And I've seen that happen before, that people got close, that they actually lifted the side of their truck off the road because they were driving a-holes. Anyway, yeah, I'm just doing a short, maybe 5 or 10 minute at the most, not even. Anyway, I was trying to look for anything interesting, and I have a couple corrections to make. This is an older article. It just caught my attention. Norristown man who bit girlfriend's wrist, attacked police, was sentenced. And it's funny because I think it says he's going to get 8 years. This is in Norristown, and it was on the 23rd. It reads, a Norristown man was sentenced to 8 years in prison for attacking 2 police officers, according to the Times Herald report. Officers had come to the house following a January 22nd, 2014 call regarding possible domestic violence. John Scotty, 25, allegedly bit his girlfriend's wrist when she tried to stop him from getting into a fight on the street, according to the report. And then he ended up biting 2 police officers. And he's getting 8 years for that. Now, you got women that are locking their kids up in the basement and having sex with minors and killing people, and they get nothing. They get a slap on the wrist. Anyway, there is something I have to laugh about. This one guy on my he added me on his Facebook page. He's one of these drag queens, and he's really funny though. So he once in a while he puts up stuff that's funny, and this one I had to steal from him. It was titled, and I am not kidding, it was on the Metro.com UK, and it's titled, "Remember Your Loved One by Putting Their Ashes in a Dildo." And it was I looked at this, and I thought it was hilarious. I had to stop everything just to, stop the press. I got to read this. And it's not really much to the story. But again, it's on the Metro. Yeah, and it says, how do you want to remember? How do you want to be remembered when you die? And it basically states it's a kit that you can put the ashes into a dildo. So I thought that was pretty funny. I had to just bring that up because I've been screwing everything up lately on my article. So, for once. Hey, I have to read, a friend put this on my page and on my Facebook page, and it was like, yeah, I already saw this video. And I was really intrigued by it. I was touched, and he puts it on my page and doesn't realize I've already watched the video. Anyway, I have to recommend it again because I really liked it. He found it on WPIX channel 11.com, and this time it's titled, "What Happens to This Social Experiment Video May Disturb You?" And it really does. It's down in Myrtle Beach, and this girl basically just wears a mask over her face and her neck, so you can't tell. You can't figure out if it's just a guy in drag or what, because she is hard to it's hard to figure out if she's a man or a woman. Minus that certain parts of her body definitely would state that she's a woman, but she's walking the streets with this mask on. It's a mirrored mask, and it's the one called American Reflex. So I would recommend watching it again. I really liked it. It said she was wearing stripper garb, and these people on the streets are just, and it's these young girls, were really just throwing stuff at her, knocking her over. She actually skinned her knees. The poor woman who did this, I felt really bad. The last sentence in this article from PIX says, the result is a heart-wrenching Technicolor spectacular that raises questions about gender stereotypes, mob mentality, and violence in America. I said that the first time I watched that. So anyway, I might take a short break in a minute because I'm going to make this a short show to begin with. I just want to see if I can find anything else out. But before I do that, I have to correct myself. You know what? I'm reading all this stuff and I'm messing it up reading it, so I apologize. I'm not going to have a show much longer if I continue to go down this path of ruining the news in the way I, mention it or read it, because it's always incorrect. But, I was talking a little bit about my favorite show, Doctor Who. By the way, Billy Piper is going to be down in Philadelphia with David Tennant. And it got me really mad because now she's only going to be down there for one day. So that does not make me happy. I paid $500 for a freaking ticket to find out that, I understand she's doing this show. It's called Penny Dreadful. So I can understand, but they should know this stuff ahead of time. Not the actors as much. They're kind of like under, whatever they can get as a job. And, but why charge that much money for a person who's not going to even be able to show up probably? So that got me really angry. So that was problem number one for me. What else was I going to mention? Oh, yeah, when I was mentioning about Doctor Who, I said, years ago, I was actually 12 years old the first time I actually watched Doctor Who. And the episode I was watching yesterday that was mentioned, it was called The Chase. I remember that time I was 16 years old. And yes, Doctor Who back in the day, you had to make pledges in order to continue watching a show to the PBS television stations around the area. Like I had New Jersey Network and I had WHYY. So I would watch both, and there was a channel 39 was another one in Pennsylvania that actually showed Doctor Who. So this is before we even had cable. I mean, you're talking back in like late 70s, early 80s, and Doctor Who was really big. Actually, back in 1970, they were actually showing John Pertwee's on TV after they were aired in UK, and then it stopped for a while, and then it came back. So anyway, make a long story short, I did watch it on UHF, but it was PBS UHF and also Channel 12, which was, there was only 3, 6, and 10 and Channel 12 as your VHS stations. Nobody knows what that means anymore. Anyway, I might take a short break. I'm going to check my levels and see if there's anything. Yeah, I read a lot of my news off the Huffington Post, and that's a big mistake because they basically they basically sugarcoat the news, or they make the Republicans look really bad, or they just make the justice system look bad. So they jade their news is very tainted. And that's why I need to look for another source for, reading the news. Anyway, I will be back in a moment.
You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Hey, it's Walter. I'm back again. I just wanted to mention two more things. Yeah, I would say if you want to find out more accurate news, not that's tinted to favor one side or other, you got to look at Drudge Report webpage. That's more accurate. That other BS from the Huffington Post and CNN. Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be slated towards one side or the other. Anyway, two more things before I let it go, and that'll be it. It's going to be a short one today, this morning at least. It said it's from Fusion, and it says the odd tactics of giving Baltimore protesters space to destroy property. Because I read some article from the Huffington Post, and trust me, that was very slanted. They make up excuses, and I don't go for that one bit. So anyway, it basically states what no one expected is what Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rollins Blake admitted in a press conference on Sunday, that she asked the Baltimore Police Department to give those who wish to destroy the space to do that. I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. You're allowing people to destroy property. It's not even owned by, it's privately owned property, and you're saying, yeah, you know what, you got to give these people, you got to understand they need the space to destroy things. I mean, you talk about perpetual adolescence, that's it at its best. And these are people in power allowing and telling the cops, you know what, allow these people to destroy things. That's all right. No, it's not. So they got me really angry. Another article from something I listened to, I heard on today's show this afternoon, which was Rush's show. He was basically mentioned. It was something with Obama, and it said correspondence dinner. Obama rips off your host, basically Rush, and elitist mock Memories Pizza. So that was on today's show, on Rush's show. And that's just really ridiculous, too. I mean, they're mocking the people at Memories Pizza. I mean, did you see those people? They're just typical mom and pop shop, pizzeria. They get, this gay couple who comes in there to set up their wedding at a pizza shop. Who orders pizzas for a wedding anyway, for the reception? And they knew that, these people were very religious, very Christian, and they knew that they weren't going to honor or going to do their wedding reception. So they deliberately asked us to set these people up. And then somebody actually threatened to burn it down. Some woman, some gym teacher, I think. I forget where that was. I mean, it's just really pathetic, though, folks. Anyway, I said I was going to keep it short because maybe tonight, if I feel like it, I'll do a little bit more. I just wanted to do and try to correct my mistakes from yesterday on mispronouncing way too much. I couldn't even listen to my own show yesterday. It was so bad. It was just intolerable. So anyway, have a good afternoon, and I will try to be back on later on, either today or tomorrow.